Hello, folks. This is Wistful Deal here, and happy Memorial Day. It is Memorial Day as of today, and yeah, happy Memorial Day to you folks. But this video here is not about Memorial Day. This video is about the MLP Horror AUs, and I want to discuss with you folks about the MLP Horror AUs and some of the thoughts that have been stirring up on me when doing these, and I want to discuss with you folks on part of the flaws or issues that I feel like discussing and showing you folks. And one of the first things that I'm having an issue with is that it is getting harder and harder to find them. Now, it's not so much that it's getting harder and harder to result of them, but it's getting harder and harder for me to find not only unique ones, that are just different from the same ones that I've already covered before, but also unique ones that I feel are not only unique and different, but have a different take and everything. Folks, when I look at the horror AUs and when I, you know, take a look at them, because before I record, before I do anything, I always peek over just a little bit just to kind of get a little feel, a little idea of that specific AU before going into it. I really try to find ones that I guess that I deem worthy of the horror AUs. Not so much that I don't mind doing any of them or anything, but I like to find unique ones that are different in a sense. This can be with a unique art style or a different story or even just a super unique infection that I haven't seen at least. And I like to find ones that I feel are kind of premium in a sense. It's not that I don't mind doing any of them, but I don't want to just do any of them for the sake of any of them. I like to kind of take my time, and I like to, I pretty much like to look for the best in a sense of the horror AUs, and I like to look at them that I think are very unique and very interesting. Because one thing that I hate any more than just uploading nonsense is to just pretty much kind of shit post or just upload for the sake of upload and not have any quality towards it. Quality over quantity pretty much is what I'm trying to say. Now, I don't mind covering any AUs at all. If your folks ask me to, hey, Wistful, can you cover this for me? I don't mind doing that at all. I would do that in a heartbeat. Or the ones that, I'm in, just any AUs that you folks have requests on, I truly do not mind at all doing any of them. I love covering them. But when it comes to standalone, and when I look over the different AUs, I like to find ones that feel unique to me or something. I know we have different tastes or whatnot, but with me, I really have a gold or premium type of look towards it. And what also I'm trying to say is that I like to look for ones that are, again, very unique and very interesting. I'm not trying to say you folks need to do arts, a unique art style or anything like that, because one thing, art does take a shit ton of time. It can take a crap ton of work, with time and everything and effort. It does take a lot of time, and I don't want to say that your folks need to do effort, really in towards it. I'm not trying to say you folks need to put in like tire yourselves out to do AUs for me, but I always try to look for ones that seemingly have more effort. It's just with me personally, I like to find stuff that is very good, and it's not only with that, but also the cliches are getting ridiculously irritating and annoying. You folks may see this beforehand, but the cliche, with previous videos, but the cliches are obviously annoying, and it makes it less enjoyable for me to look at them when I can already sort of predict on what may happen or what may most likely happen. Prime example is Celestia leaving Equestria again with Luna or whatever. Or Spike not being okay, making sure Spike's okay, because if he's not okay, then your folks are going to be pissed and mad, and it's like, no, we need Spike okay. It's not that I have an issue with the cliches, but when you see it a million times over and over and over again, it can get very unenjoyable, and when it becomes predictable, with Twilight's the first that got infected, or Spike's not okay, Celestia left again, or whatever, it becomes super cliche, and it just makes it overall less enjoyable because I already know what's going to happen before anything happens. Even if I don't primarily look at it or read it, fully or beforehand or whatever, it just makes it less enjoyable and less fun to look at and enjoy when it becomes so predictable and you already kind of know what's going to happen before anything happens. And that's kind of another thing too, as well, with Spike as well. Look, I love Spike as well, as much as anyone. Spike is a good character. He's not the perfect character, okay? But you know what? He's an overall good character in the show, and he's really a good dragon boy. But he's not the only one, folks, okay? I get it, we are all mainly here for Spike. We all want to make sure Spike's okay. But he's not the only character, okay? I don't just make sure Spike's okay. I want to make sure everyone's okay, Honestly, I never really cared that much if Spike is okay or not. At least to me, because to me, I overall look at the story in general as a whole instead of just one specific character to see if they're really okay or not. I know it can be engaging at times, and I can kind of see why. Your favorite character. Oh, are they gonna be okay in this one? Let's go in and see. Is what's gonna happen in this one? But I like to look at a story as a whole in general rather than just focusing on one character alone and regarding of the story. Oh no, we got the dementia or Alzheimer's AU, whatever. Oh, is Spike gonna be okay in this one? Oh no, we got the diabetes. No, not that one. But like, is he okay in this one? Does Spike have diabetes in this? Does he have Alzheimer's? It's like what I'm pretty much trying to say, folks, is that overall, when I look at an AU, when I find something that's unique and stuff, I push aside Spike. Not because that I don't care for him too, but I like to look at the story as a whole and, pretty much shrug off if Spike's okay or not. Because at the end of the day, folks, what really matters is how good the story is or how good, you know, something really is, regardless if a certain character in an AU is okay or not. And lastly, that I want to discuss and talk about with you folks is that I don't want you folks to go away or fade away when the AUs die down. It's already kind of happening as we speak, honestly, folks, because I noticed that there has been a study upcrease with certain AUs that I've been doing, but I noticed that it's slowly dying down. I'm at least getting at least 1,000 views with the horror AUs. And I'm not trying to say you folks need to watch harder or that you folks need to push more to watch my videos. At the end of the day, you folks should always feel free to watch whatever you want to watch, right? If you folks aren't interested in something, you don't have to watch it. You should know no audience should ever be forced or pushed into watching a creator's content, especially if they're not interested in it, you know. But I but the viewership has been dying down with the horror AUs, and I think this is kind of a prime example of something that I want to discuss with you folks and talk with you folks with. And one of the things that I'm worried on is that when the trend eventually dies down, because, and I said this before, folks, but it's gonna die eventually. Whether TikTok survives or not in September, the trend's gonna die. Okay, folks, it's gonna happen whether we like it or not. You know, nothing can last forever. You know, trends eventually die down. But I'm still gonna, continue to do horror content because I'm a horror fanatic. I love horror as much as anyone, and I'm a huge fan of unique takes or unique genres of horror, and I will always continue to do the AUs in some sense. Whether it's someone requesting me to do a horror AU or, this or that, they're still gonna always continue in some sense, even if it's far off. But there's always different horrors too, like gaming horror, which I really want to get back to, or creepy pastas, And speaking of which, of MLP horror, there's a shit ton of horror games, creepy pastas, art, there's a crap ton of variety with My Little Pony horror besides just the TikTok horror AUs or on YouTube or Instagram, I guess, or whatever. There's all kinds of different horror AUs, and I like to look at different horror AUs outside of MLP horror, just to add a bit of freshness towards it. I've never been the type of person that sticks to one thing and one thing alone, because I like to add variety from time to time, or something unique. Even if you folks aren't as interested in that content, I like to do different fresh takes, whether it's playing an action game or you know, a battlefield game or hanging out with friends. I like to add something unique towards it, and this is also why I like to do AUs outside of MLP horror, such as SpongeBob or Gumball or I don't know Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents. Just to add that bit of freshness towards it, so I'm not just sticking to one thing and one thing alone. Even if you folks aren't as interested in the outside content, I still like to add uniqueness towards it to keep things fresh. Because I hate one thing that I hate more than spamming and wasting time and doing quantity is not doing quality, and that's overall what I'm trying to say with this whole video here, folks. At the end of the day, I love the AUs as much as you, but they can't last forever. A trend's gonna die down. Um, I overall feel a lot of them are being cliched, especially with the ones that I've looked over. It's not that I don't mind doing them, but I just get less enjoyment when there's a lot of cliches and a lot of predictability in them. And overall, I want you folks to be open enough to content outside of the horror AUs, the MLP horror AUs, because there is still a shit ton of horror stuff, not just with just MLP horror in general, but also with horror games and a lot of stuff overall in general with just horror as a whole and not just one specific thing. But that's pretty much my take, and this is pretty much my overall thoughts. At the end of the day, folks, this is just my view and my preference, and overall just how I feel with them. I'm not going to stop them. I'm still going to continue them. I'm still going to, continue to do them because I love doing them. But one thing that I don't want you folks to ever do is to have it be where it becomes an issue that James, at least what they've been filming with everything, well, the audience only cares about the horror AUs and nothing else entirely. Because, and I and I'm not trying to throw him under the bus or anything, but to, and I get where he's coming from, because he does, hyper hot music and different content and stuff. And I do agree with him fully that it feels fully discouraging when he puts effort and time into different videos outside, and folks are only interested in, just the horror AUs. I really get it, because I'm feeling the same way. And, you know, I truly get it, especially with freaking hyper hot music, because he doesn't, because he, well, whatever, I'm getting sidetracked, but he writes the lyrics, and he does, the music beats and finding what fits and everything. That takes a lot of time and stuff. And I'm very proud of him for what he's doing. Speaking of his music and stuff, I'm meaning to get back to reacting to his songs and giving him my thoughts and stuff. Because even though I'm not a fan of hyper hop, I really can't get into that genre. um, I don't know, maybe when I was younger, but now it's just, I can't get into it. But you know what? But the fact of the matter that he works himself to doing it, and how he puts effort, and how much better he's getting into that and everything, not just with lyrics or musical, but just overall in general, I'm honestly couldn't be any more proud of him with that stuff. But at the end of the day, folks, I still appreciate you guys, and the only thing that I don't want to happen is you folks to just go away or just leave me because I'm not doing horror AUs anymore or as much. Because there's more to it than just one specific genre. There's more to it than just a specific type of horror or video or whatever. And I want you folks to stick around to that, outside of stuff. I want you folks to be here for me and, me alone. I'm not trying to sound selfish, but I want you folks to just be here for my content and not for a specific content that I'm doing. Folks, I do this content because I love you guys, and I really appreciate you guys, being supportive and everything. But I don't want you folks to ever, leave. That's my biggest fear, is when the trend dies down, the horror AUs die down, that my channel's gonna die down, and I'm just gonna be back to square one again. But anyway, I've gone way over ahead of myself, and yeah. Overall, thank you folks for watching this video here, and I'll see you folks sooner or later. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and I'm rambling too much, but yeah. I'll see you folks sooner or later. Happy Memorial Day, everyone.